So Pike considers what she was saying there. He tells Uhura to get a video package basically ready when he says to go. And then he beams down to where the seditious leader and the rightful leader of the planetary government of Kylie 279 are meeting. I love this because this scene was in the trailer where he beams right in between them on the debate stage. And, hi.
Yeah, I like that one too.
He kind of launches into well, I guess this would be the opposite of a Pikespirational speech to begin with, where he's trying to warn them first before he inspires them.
I don't know, man. I think you could still wrap this up as a Pikespirational speech. It starts out dark, but I feel like by the end he's a little optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I guess that would still go in there. But he kind of gives them the what for, like, hey, we were in a situation like you, even though we're very far apart, we're very much alike. We had all this happen, and then the Second Civil War, and then the Eugenics War, and then became World War III. We lost 600,000 different species of plants and animals, the deaths of more than 30% of all of Earth's population. This technology you guys have just developed, it's going to give you more than enough power to do it. So, go ahead, kill yourselves, blow yourselves apart, or join us.
Reach for the stars.
Yeah. They didn't show it, but I'm sure there wasn't a dry eye in the house, and everybody was standing and cheering on the entire planet.
And then everyone clapped.
Yes, because Pike just has that, just has that ability. We cut to what I thought were like some really neat scenes now where they're showing like school kids and colleges and doctors, and they're like showing like, okay, here's what the Enterprise looks like, and here's what humans, and they're kind of like doing this stuff where you can see that this planet's kind of like going, hey, you know what, maybe let's go ahead and pull our heads out of our bums and let's try this out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of this cool, like, montage-y, like, look back at that matched the opening montage. Because you had the first one that's very, like, militaristic, and the second one that's very scientific.
Makes sense. I like it.
All right, so then we jump back to Starbase 1, where Admiral April is like, wow, you guys should really be in prison now. I just barely kept you out of that. But Spock's like, yeah, well, I guess it's kind of hard to, like, tell everybody the truth about what happened here since everything's hidden behind, like, 19 layers of secrecy, and you couldn't admit that this battle ever happened, let alone that that's, how these people developed warp, and so it kind of doesn't allow General Order 1 to take precedent. And then there's this thing where Admiral April, he says, well, they're really going to double down on this thing. They're going to call it the Prime Directive. And Pike's like, that'll never work.
Yeah, that name won't stick.
That won't stick. Una asks if she can return to the Enterprise. April basically throws it to Pike on, hey, if you're going to stay in the commander's chair, is it okay? So that's all cleared up. Later, after that meeting, Leanne meets with Pike in private in what is, again, either a rec room or his quarters, and I'm not really sure. And he asks her to tell him about what happened with the Gorn and with Una. And, she kind of re-tags the story, and this time includes how Una Chen Riley had been an ensign aboard the USS Martin Luther King Jr. and found her and helped her get home. And then a little conversation about them trusting each other. He's like, so you didn't know if I would trust you, so you decided to not trust me. And then they kind of talk about some things where they'd sent off seed pods before World War III, and that by the time the planet was recovering, they'd try to get some of these things back from space, but by then there were these giant forests growing in these seed pods, so they just made Starbase 1 out of it. And then he offers her a formal place on the Enterprise as the security chief. He goes through a captain's log of, I don't know, ruminations and this, that, and the other.